Okay, let's do a brief audio and visual check. Let's make sure everything's working. What a Sunday, everybody. What a freaking Sunday. Can you guys hear and sound everything? Sorry I'm late. I'll tell you, it's a long story. Long story. Oh, it's as crazy as a story gets. The massage did not get extended. No. I wish it was something that simple. Let me get a few things set up and we'll get going. Yeah, it's 1 hour. This is 1 hour class. I'm here for everybody. I'm here for the chat. We're still gonna make this class an hour. How's everybody doing? You enjoy a nice weekend? Everybody enjoy a nice weekend? Long stories good for slow markets. We're here. These people, Trader X. It was not a happy ending, okay? Oh, okay. Like, give me a few seconds. All right, I jumped on. I got home. I got everything set up, and I'm rushing. And as soon as I tried to get started, my OBS wasn't working. So we're here. My third raking. Dang it, Trader X. This might sound okay with a horrible dry mouth. And the trade just started short. More like, guys, dang OBS. Yeah, blame OBS. We just like trading, we've got to blame everything else but ourselves. Yeah, we push the blame on someone else. Okay, I think we're good to go. I think we're good. Audio's good, sounds good. Hey, Doomlord. And let's get started. Welcome to Slow Markets this Sunday evening. As always, in the YouTube chat, there is our Top Step risk disclosure. It's not financial advice. It's not a signals class. We know it's for educational purposes only. So, where are we at? Let's take a look. This is a day. Not daily. This is the hour. Let's take a look at the daily here in the NASDAQ, and we gapped down. Sunday sell off. Sunday night sell off. I was talking with Baron. Shout out to Baron. Where are you at? He paid me the $50. If you guys joined us Thursday night, Baron and I had a nice friendly wager, and gold went up. It was beautiful, right? Nice, beautiful gold trade. It went up. I woke up the next morning, and Baron already sent me the money. He pays his dues. Baron's awesome. But this is a daily chart. This is kind of what we was looking for on the daily. We came down. We tested these 22,800s. It looks like tonight we gapped all the way down to those 860s. We went as far as 801. And the question we have is, do we rally? Do we rally up to these 070s? Maybe do we go back to the top end of this range? Or is there a possibility of us breaking down and coming down to the bottom to this next level of support, possibly these 600s? I know Baron and I on Thursday, we were talking about maybe there's an option that we could, break through this support and maybe make a run. I'm looking at maybe these 450s. Baron was looking for maybe a test of 22,300. Both is viable. Will we get down there? I don't know. I've been looking for about a 3.5% to 4%, a decent pullback here in this market. And if we measure these pullbacks, there's 3%. And where we are at now, we're about halfway there. So 3% will make it maybe to 400, maybe 3.5. It's pretty close. So I'm waiting for a pullback. Will we get one? We never know. It's anybody's guess. But that's kind of the game I'm playing, is patience, waiting. Let's see what the markets do. So here we are tonight. Nice gap down. This is an hourly chart. How big of a gap did we get? I mean, that was 79 points, which is still pretty big. We got used to those big gaps back the first of the year. And so now we are testing. It looks like we already tested once. And I think maybe we can continue to test or even break through these lows. That's looking pretty bearish to me, if I do say so for myself. But with that gap hanging overhead, Obviously, that's something that we need to pay attention to. Can this market come up and fill this gap? Definitely, right? Gaps like to get filled, especially when we gap down because this market has been so bullish. Let's take a brief look at the news. Not much going into tonight. Fed speaker tomorrow. We have July 15th. It's going to be a big day, right? CPI, core CPI, month over month, year over year, going through. Fed speakers coming out on the 15th as well. So there's a lot going on in the 15th. So I can imagine that we will see some decent volatility, some back and forth on the 15th. Following day, we have more inflation data, more Fed speakers, and then initial jobless claims, and then more speakers, and then hopefully a quiet Friday. But Thursday and Wednesday and Tuesday is action-packed. Not so much tomorrow. So maybe we see a calm Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is kind of the middle of the week where we can see some more volatility with these news events happening. And so try not to be too impatient forcing something. It's just Monday, right? So you don't have to spend your losses on the week. You don't want to start the week out with a loss. So there's going to be lots of action. It's a full week ahead, and there's plenty of news coming in. This hourly chart, we're continuing to push down. Let's just take a look at, that basically sums it up, right? That sums it up. We have this double bottom that we made on July 2nd and 1st, which is the basic 600 level. Can we break down and see that? I wouldn't be surprised. We're already down 0.5%, which is pretty decent for slow markets. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart, we're holding the lows. That's one heck of a gap, to be honest. We did try and fill it, and then we just completely rejected. So lots of bearish pressure. We failed to make higher lows. We broke any bullish trend line support that we had. So maybe we do run lower. I'm trying to think. See, I'm looking at these markets for the first time, just like everybody else here, maybe, unless you tuned in for what is it? Yeah. No. Secure the bag doom. I'm calling it here. Too much bag on the low. Can't trade hungry. Doom. If you trade, you can't trade hungry. Just like you can't go shopping hungry, right? You end up biting off more than you could chew. Is that the saying? Is that the saying? We are testing these lows right here at these 840s, 845s. I could see more room to the downside. Anyway, let's take a look at gold. We are coming up on the top of the hour. Let's take a look at gold. Gold gapped up higher, which makes sense if equities gapped lower. I'm not surprised to see a gap higher, right? 33.88 was a high tonight. Speaking about gold, how about that gold trade? Who tuned in Thursday night? That gold trade. Shout out to anybody joining. Shout out to Aaron. I sent him $20 during the London Open, but that was the trade. If you guys doubt technicals on a higher time frame, right? This should prove the importance of technicals on higher time frame. This is an hourly chart. Last Thursday, I talked about this. This is very important. This is a beautiful setup where we broke out of this downtrend. We were making lower highs, and we had that beautiful breakout. And everybody's seen this. It happened live. I was doing it in my live account in front of everybody Thursday with Barron, who we had that nice little friendly wager where he believed that gold was going to sell off. It looked questionable there for a second, but I kept buying. I bought the dip. And my first target, everyone knew it was going to be up here at these 50s. And then my stretch target was a test of these 70s. I was like, we could come up here and test these 70s. Sure enough, gold just kept going. Gold just kept going. And that was a beautiful trade for a Thursday night, Friday. And, sometimes you just do. Technicals work. It's a thing of beauty. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but when it does, it feels almost like magic, right? You're like, oh, how'd that work? How'd you know? I don't know. I took profits right there, right at those 50s, and we rejected, and we rejected again and again, and then we finally broke out. So sometimes it pays to just follow a process and not get emotional, because I can imagine the emotions that were going for everybody through this area, like this area here in gold at these 350s to 340s, where, I mean, if you're long, that's hard. That's very difficult to hold a trade through this type of barcoding action on the hourly chart. So if we zoom in to a 5-minute chart, you could see that price action. Like, oh, that's rough. That's rough to hold a trade through, right? So if you remember, this was the breakout candle, that hourly breakout candle, and then we got this beautiful pullback. And this is the pullback I was buying. Well, where I bought some, I think I bought some like here, bought some there and there and there and there. And then we rallied up. And it was a thing of beauty, right? I ended up taking profits at 50s. So 50s, it was up in this area, right? Either there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on this rally. And then I held, I posted it on Twitter. And if speaking of Twitter, let's get that hashtag slow markets if we should, if we could. If we could, let's get that hashtag slow markets. Where is it at? And I highly recommend paying close attention to my posts on the Twitterverse. So let's do that hashtag slow markets and see if there's any. It is Sunday night, so it's a shorter class. I care about everybody. So even though I ran into some struggles, my phone had power issues, and we got started a little bit late, I'm still going to make sure I am taking care of everybody. 1 hour class, which, I mean, basically run into the regular time, right? It's not Twitter, it's X, it's Twix. Okay, Scott, it's Twix. So there it is. Let's see some hashtag slow markets. Pay attention. I did post a new picture if you didn't see it. This was it. Sparring with my guys. Of course. This is the only good shot I got on. It's like, hey, I'm gonna post this. But Golden Gloves. This is a Golden Gloves champ right here. And this is probably the only shot I got on. So I had to post it and tease him a little bit about that. So that's all that was. I'm not gonna tell anybody. You didn't see that. You don't have to see the before. You don't have to see the after. Before it didn't look good. After it didn't look good. But there's one little moment that you're like, I could do that again. And there, so that was good. You're like, my dad can't change. Not sure what you mean by that, Scott. The right cross. No, I wish I was late because I was at the gym. That would have been a lot more, been a lot better, huh? Hey, getting dusted by gold glove wins. Yeah, it's sparring. When you spar, you don't go 100%. You go like 20%, 10%, and the correct way you spar in boxing is the correct way you trade, right? You practice in a safer environment, and then you don't go full port. Sometimes that's all it takes is that one moment to bring you right back. Same with trading, right? You trade, you struggle. You get one good trade, and it keeps you in. It keeps you the motivation. Sounds like your trading stats. Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Gold's in an interesting. We're in an interesting spot in these markets tonight. I mean, you can see these highs in gold, and you can see we're making higher lows. It's tempting to short gold to see if we could fill this gap and go back to where we opened. But in a way, you don't want to short this bullish rally. Right? This is a rally. This is a nice moving market. So it's hard to short it, even though it's tempting, because we could very easily keep going and leave this gap there until tomorrow. Of course, now if gold does start to sell off, then you woulda, coulda, shoulda. And I think it's the same with the NASDAQ, right? Because it's tempting to short the NASDAQ and make a short to maybe test these 40s or somewhere lower. But we have that gap there. And Monday, tonight and tomorrow is kind of there's not a lot of news. We have, of course, those Fed speakers. We have some Chinese data coming out tomorrow, some Chinese data coming out tonight. Will that move the markets? Most likely not. I'm not expecting these to be moving the markets tonight and tomorrow. I don't really even think the Fed speakers will move the market very much, not dramatic. So maybe tonight and tomorrow will be a nice calmish day. I mean, if you want to put calm, is calm a word in these markets? But a lot of the data and a lot of volatility is I think going to be coming out on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, look at this. Look at coming out on July 15th. Inflation data, and look how many speakers. It's just speakers for days. Earnings is a big one. Let's not forget earnings. Quarter Q2 just ended. We're going to be earnings. Here's another big one, right? NVIDIA CEO speaking. We're going. It's an action-packed week. Action-packed week for sure. Would like NQ to liquidate Monday low and then fill the gap. Okay, I could get behind that. If we could go run the lows, run some stops, and then find some market structure. NASDAQ might. It's looking pretty heavy. I'm not seeing a slow markets trade of the night tonight on any of these time frames, just because we have a gap. So it's hard for me to have a overnight trade when we have a gap and I'm looking for it to continue down. So that's me, and the way that I see this is, the fact that we gap down and I'm looking for this to continue. It's hard for me to get into that direction just because of this gap. Now, it's just a preference thing for myself. I would love to see this. What I would have loved to seen is if we would have filled this gap and then we start to sell off, then I could see myself getting into a short and saying, hey, this is a decent slow markets trade. I could have a nice wide stop. And then there's that big round 23,000 level. So I think patience is the right thing for me tonight. Just waiting. Let's see how these markets are going to react to start the beginning of the week and the news action-packed week to come. Follow your process. Follow your process. Remember, nobody ever goes broke by being patient and waiting for better setups. Better setups, better opportunities. This might be a good, maybe this is the best setup for you. I've talked to so many traders. There's so many strategies out there that, hey, I wait weeks for this setup. Maybe this is the perfect setup that somebody's been waiting for. I don't know. Is it long? Is it short? Maybe. You just never know, right? That's why I will always say you follow your process regardless of what anybody else's opinion is. As long as you're managing risk, as you're following risk, then that should be it. I know traders, I've heard of people where it's like, I only trade gaps. And I'm like, man, then you never place a trade. He's like, that's fine. Maybe I place, 3 trades a month. Well, this might be one of those 3 trades a month that trader who just trades gaps waits for. 12:17 strategies tonight. Okay, shark trends. Nice. Long on equities, hold support could be good here. Yeah, and then I have this buy the dip, right? Buy the dip. But it doesn't say what market. Is this in gold? Is this in platinum? Is it in the NASDAQ? We got to buy something. There it is. Boom. Gold short from 33.87. Let's keep an eye on this. Here's what I'm looking for tonight. I wouldn't mind NASDAQ selling off a little bit, but I don't know if I could trust a gold short. Oh, Matt, we are selling off, actually. Let's see how we do here. Let's see how we do. Show balance? Like this? Is this what you're referring to? 1,000. There's 115 contracts filled right at the bottom. Right at the bottom. Can we break through? Can we fill that? Let's see if we could fill this gap here. Bitcoin's crazy. Bitcoin's been going up. Bitcoin is overrated now for me. BTFD is buy the freaking dip. Yeah. See, gold's trying to fill this gap. There we go. We just crossed below it. El Senor says, new profile pic. Yes. Show balance. Maybe show the P&L. I mean, you guys get to see everything. You just need to tune in to TopstepTV. Tune in. ISO 20:22 TM, and no one talking about it. What's that? In search of ISO. Let's see if we could. Yeah, I don't trust these moves tonight in gold or in the NASDAQ. And here's another good example. Is gold and NASDAQ correlated? I don't depend on correlation. Platinum is the new Bitcoin for traders. So to me, Bitcoin is overrated. It is. I think the hype was justified because it's been such a crazy move. But now we're seeing those percentage moves. I take it from a percentage basis. Still great. Still great. Still volatile, though. Look at gold wick on the 4-hour. That's some rejection. Well, we have not filled the gap. It looks like we tried. We got down to 76. Are there any prop firms that allow you to swing trade? Not that I know of. A lot of prop firms like to have trades finished by end of day. But at Topstep, with live accounts, you can have that requested. Yeah, live accounts, there's more flexibility. Everyone who's in a live account here at Topstep, they can reach out to the risk management team and have that requested. Okay, chat, you could probably answer this. Young Sushni, if you such a successful trader, why not showing them profit on the account balance though? If you tune in to Topstep TV during fast markets, they do show all the details every morning. Or you know what? You can follow me on the Twitterverse and get all the details there. Doom says, yeah, I forget about checking with the risk manager. Yeah, check with the risk manager. Risk managers here are, from my experience, has been great. You could have phone calls. You can work with them, discuss your trading. If you want to hold a trade overnight, you could request that. And there's a lot. I won't talk about options. Options are great, man. I tell you, my bread and butter has been options. This day trading, I'm getting there. It's the same process. I'm getting better, continue to get better, just like everybody else here. Appreciate that. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Can you copy trade on a live account? What do you mean? I just have one live account here. I could do a custom nickname. We could do a custom nickname. Day trading sucks. It depends. I've met some great successful day traders, much better than I am. There's day traders here at Topstep that are better than I am. Shout out to KJ. There's some amazing traders here at Topstep, and they've been killing it in the live account. ARR on gold. Where did I learn options from? When I was little. I followed Tom Sajanoff. Day change options level can be used for futures. Yes. That's exactly it. Even though we might be trading like the NASDAQ, the same analysis applies. The same analysis applies on this. And it's day trading. It's technicals. You've seen that gold trade from Thursday. We're viewing these technicals. I look at the hourly chart. I look at the daily. I look at the 5-minute. And it's the exact same process. It's just different time frame. It's different setups. Even though we're looking at, like, say, the QQQ or the NASDAQ, those are correlated. QQQ, NASDAQ, basically the same thing. One's a future. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense to you. I don't want to get too far in depth. I think maybe going into the second half of this year, I'll start talking more advanced stuff. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. What's chat's thought on getting into more advanced conversations of trading and news and all of that? What's your thoughts? Take a look at like some QQQ. Scatter Sparks says, I used to trade TQQ. Okay. Interesting. Options, and we're not going to go to 0 DTEs, Bernie. No, that's definitely not me. I've gone from 11K profits to losing accounts. I need to refocus some. I've been there. I've had to refocus myself on this day trading stuff. Definitely. Part of being transparent, unfortunately, is sharing the losing side. And I've shared this before. If you followed me in slow markets, or if you tuned into slow markets before, I have been on one heck of a losing streak at the beginning and the first half of this year. And sometimes that's what it takes. You just need to take a step back and say, what am I doing wrong? I need to refocus. Like, why is my day trading lacking, but I'm still doing well in options? Like, what is it? Me? Is it the market? Is it my execution? Is it my emotions? Like, what is it? Let's like refocus. Let's try and get better. The biggest thing I do want to say is it doesn't matter about taking a loss. It matters how big of a loss it is. Like, can you trade tomorrow, right? Can I show up tomorrow and still be able to do what I do? And if the answer is yes, then you shouldn't take it too hard. Like, hopefully it's like, if you take a loss or you start to struggle, hopefully it's a wake-up call, right? Sometimes it's motivation. Okay, this is the motivation I need to start doing better, right? But then as long as you're not putting yourself at risk of just blowing an account up or losing more than you could afford to lose, right? And you could come back tomorrow or the next day and the next day and continue to get better day in, day out. And you'll have your ups and downs. And that's one thing I've noticed a lot. I pay attention. If you might not realize, is I pay attention. I pay attention to what's going on in this industry. I pay attention to leaderboards. I pay attention to everything. And I see it all the time. I see traders that they do really well. Like, that's great trading for like a month. And then they struggle and they disappear. And maybe it's great trading for 2, maybe 3 months. And then they just blow up. And I don't know what it is. It's maybe most likely emotional, where it's like, if they could just figure out what's going on and lock in, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep going. I've seen traders make it on the leaderboard and they let the ego happen and then they blow it up. And it's like, I hate to see it. Sometimes it's predictable. It's predictable. It happened to me. Happens to me sometimes, is you get too comfortable and you get a little hot-headed and ego, and you're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm doing good. And the next thing you know, loss, and then loss, and loss, and loss, and then the count's blown, and then you're no longer on the leaderboard, or you're paying too much attention to the wrong things, right? Like, oh, why did I pay attention to the leaderboard? You shouldn't even be paying attention to the leaderboard. Just focus on your own trading. It's fight or flight. Yeah, the point of chill. Ask Hoag. He knows. The point of chill. Let's see if gold could push down and fill this gap. Let's take a look. What's NASDAQ doing? All right, NASDAQ. We're holding a little bit. We're holding. Kind of hovering, staying into these 50s. Let's take a look back at gold. What are we looking at tonight? A whole lot of nothing. We got gaps up and down, and we're seeing if gold can sell off. No trades yet. This is kind of a slow Sunday night. We have big data coming out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Not too much coming on, Monday, but anything can change, right? We have Truth Social. We have a president that could drop headliners. We have, obviously news headlines move markets depending on what the news headline is. So even though there's no news scheduled for tonight and to tomorrow, it doesn't mean that there could be someone mentioning tariffs and this market sell off 1%. So we still need to be aware. We always need to be aware of big moves like that in the market. Also, the second quarter has came to an end, so we might be seeing more and more talk about earnings, right? Wells Fargo earnings call, Citi earnings call. So earnings, Fed speakers, we have the NVIDIA CEO. And so there's going to be a lot more of, the market does what it does, right? We focus on one thing, and then we find the next shiny thing to focus on, and then we find the next shiny thing, and the market's always changing its focus on these different points in the market, right? It's tariffs, and then it's inflation, and then it's interest rates, and then it's earnings, and then it's back to tariffs, then it's war, then it's this. And that's kind of what we do as day traders, right? We navigate this ever-changing market of headlines coming out unexpectedly, news coming out, data coming out, unexpected events, sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news, vice versa. And we just follow a process and manage risk. Expirations this Friday. Yeah, I mean, is it the third Friday of the month already? Is it the third Friday of the month? Yeah, man, July's halfway over with. To be honest, isn't all trading just some form of guessing? Just some guesses, more education. I mean, I think that could be a valid statement, right? Trading can be a form of guessing. I wouldn't use the word guessing. I would say predictive, right? It's like anything. You make a predictive analysis based off data, based off of maybe indicators or whatever you're using, but it's more about management, right? I believe that trading is a form of risk management more so than it is guessing. Probabilities, yeah. It's like, I know casinos has been great for analogies, right? And you could make the case as, well, isn't the casino just guessing? Not really, right? Because the casino does know at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, I should say, the casino will be profitable at the end of the year. It knows the probabilities, right? It knows. But any given day, the casino might lose money for like maybe an hour. It's like, wow, this guy just hit a jackpot. We have to pay out $5 million to some random person who just hit a jackpot. We just lost money today. But the casino knows that over a long period of time, it's going to have a positive expectancy and it's going to make money. Now, I'm not comparing saying that we are going to be a casino and we're always going to make money in the market, but the idea is the same. Even though we might lose a single trade, we need to take a look at the overall risk management, the overall process, your overall expectancy, and make sure we're thinking about that, not just trying to guess or get back to break even or making emotional decisions. Let's see if gold could push down here and get this gap filled. NASDAQ with almost a tape bomb. Let's look. Is that a tape bomb? 10 points. I mean, it's still barcoding, right? It's just barcoding larger. NASDAQ selling off and gold selling off. Another proof. Gold and NASDAQ not 100% correlated. A huge 11 point. I mean, for slow markets, 11 point can be big. That was just like a little tiny move back in April. We're pushing lows here on gold. Pushing lows. Here's a question now. Here's a question. Could this be a trade, chat? This is something I'm thinking about right now. Can we buy gold? Is there a buyable dip here in gold? If so, where? Okay. We did just, gold's already up 0.3%. This is resistance. This was resistance. Can there be a buying opportunity here in gold? We see the equities selling off. It gapped down. But my trade on gold is not going to be based off of what equities are doing. However, when gold rallies, we know gold can rally. If Coach Hoop is in here, he knows if gold is trending, it trends. So can we fill this gap here for Sunday night, and maybe we come down to these 60s? Or maybe we come down to these 60s. I don't know, 50. I don't know where. Maybe if we do get down to these 50s, I would definitely love to see a buying opportunity down here into these 50s, looking for a bounce off of that. That could be. right? And then the next level, can we see gold test 3,400? 3,400 is a big round number. And so maybe we can come up here and test these 3,400s. That could be possible. I'm talking long side right now. Long side is what I'm looking at, because this has been pretty bullish, and I haven't seen a reversal pattern yet, and we just broke through this level of resistance. So I'm just talking long side. Of course, anything can happen, and we could just sell off. But if we do get down to these 3350s, then that's going to be a lot more. I don't know, enticing for me. Enticing, maybe? Is enticing the right word? I need 22,949 right now. Richard's looking at the NASDAQ. Might take profit. Looking good. Yeah, gold's still pushing lower. Let's take a look at the NAS. The NASDAQ. Not really moving. Not really moving. Value area high. Anybody else trade tonight? Anybody place any trades? Because it looks like there is some volatility. I don't have a top 5, and I don't have those. What you see is what I have up right now when I'm doing day trading. Took my gold short, 10 points out. Great trade. So in short gold, okay. So it looks like some traders are shorting gold and doing well. I'm scalping some shorts. That's it. Okay. Play. Out too early. Hey, what do they say? One in the hands worth two in the bush. Missed the entry. Didn't want to chase that short. Okay, good. Even though if you might have missed a trade, you should count that as a win to be able to just exercise that discipline. If you're able to just like, yeah, I missed my entry, so I didn't place the trade. That is, honestly, sometimes that's even better than a win when it comes to your overall trading. Really is. Be honest. If you're able to practice that discipline and say, I missed my entry, and then it just goes without you, it sucks. Maybe you could journal it, but that should be a positive thing, right? It should be a positive note that you were able to practice that discipline to not FOMO and chase it. I trade Asia mostly, so patience. Yeah, if you trade the Asian session, or if you joined Aaron for the London Open, or I would even say the London session with D, it takes some patience, and I'm comparing that to the New York session Open, where it gets a little crazy. Discipline is key. Yeah, we're still selling off here in gold. I'm still not seeing any slow night, what do we call it? Overnight slow markets trade. What is it called? Trade of the night. Slow markets trade of the night. Not even seeing any good hashtag slow markets. I have 690 minute supply. That is working so far on gold. Okay, I'll answer this question. I don't mind answering questions. You come here for slow markets, and I treat my slow markets audience, regardless of what it is, as best as I can, right? Ask me a question, I'll answer it if it's related to trading, if it's related to markets or risk management. So I want to answer this question. It says, I remember you've stated before, for new options beginners, learning options, what options should they start with? If they start learning, please. So here at Topstep, we trade futures, right? You could trade futures. We day trade futures, but I do some options trading. And if this is not financial advice, everybody knows I posted Topstep risk disclosure. There's the Topstep risk disclosure. My one recommendation is level 1 options. Something liquid, something popular, like an index and start small. Just like any recommendation I have in futures trading, you want to maybe start with a simulated account. You want to start with something small and don't risk more than you should. And start with something simple. It's called the will strategy. It's very boring. The will strategy is very, very boring. You could Google it. It's everywhere. It's common. It's very popular, but that's what it is. Hey, look, here's hashtag slow markets. Don't know what this is, but it's just a whole lot of green. So there it is. Thanks for the advice, OG. Hashtag slow markets. Great trading. Up 400 plus. Put your multiplier on there. So, hey, you're trading during slow markets. And you're doing well. Shout out to that. I honestly, to be honest, I don't care about anybody. If you trade anybody in this on the social media anywhere, if you trade good, I give credit where credit is due. You could hate me, you could love me, you could have a different opinion than what I have. If you're trading well, I appreciate that. When am I going to start an options class? I might talk a little bit more about options and then kind of feed that into my day trading, because options move markets. You've seen it. Jack, Andre, team and I were just talking about in fast markets about how leveraged options can be, especially in different countries that have less liquidity. And they can move the markets, and they're important. When you trade live, how many contracts do you trade? It depends. It depends on the setup. It depends on the time frame. I know that's not the answer you want, but as of right now, when I'm trading my slow market setup and I'm letting the trade run overnight, it's I've been trading like 5 micros, give or take. Option sell puts on Tesla. This is not financial advice. Not financial advice. Let's see. Gold's struggling to fill this gap completely. We're bounced off the 70s. Aaron, what question is that? Do I think 100 Dakotas could defeat a gorilla? My answer is going to be yes. My answer is going to be yes, of course. I will always say 100 decently fit adult humans can defeat one gorilla. Sell credit spreads. Is it better to do my analysis on ticks or minutes? Sometimes they feel it's up to you. I do the same thing every night. Do I not? Is this the same thing every night? Does it get boring? Because sometimes it can be. And it's the same thing. It's very repetitive. I start on the daily. I do my analysis on the daily, and then I'll zoom in to an hourly chart, kind of do some analysis on the hourly, and then I will zoom into a 5-minute chart as well. How much capital do you need to start with trading options? It depends. Start in a simulated environment. You don't need. Depends on the brokerage too, right? Someone says, I think as soon as Dakota #1 gets his arms ripped off, the other 99 will run away. Well, I could think that as soon as the gorilla sees 100 Dakotas coming after it, then the gorilla would run away. Right? Come on, we're doing all these hypotheticals. If you want to bring in character emotions, then the gorilla would run away if it sees 100 humans running at it. Would it not? I mean, if I see a gorilla down the street and a bunch of people start chasing it, it's going to run away. right? So you have to take emotions and psychology out of that. It's major. No, it's not. We're not getting into this again. Jay and I spent too much time talking about this. Why do we even start talking about this? Come on. Yeah, we're chat's getting lost. Come on, there's lots of people that don't chat, and they're trying to figure out these markets, and we're talking about gorillas versus 100 me's, 100 Coach Dakotas. Here's a good question. I guess what I'm really getting at is, at what point do you really see the ability to scale and make a living at it? Okay, great question. I think that question in and of itself deserves an entire episode. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to make a note. Heck with a note. I'm going to do this. I'm going to one up. Artist, are you talking about options or are you talking about day trading futures? Let me make sure, because I think that is a great point. It's going to be, can you make a living with trading futures? And I'm going to say, Coach Jay and I is going to do this for tomorrow. I think that's a great one for me and Coach Jay to tackle tomorrow. I'm going to do that. Let's do it. Can you make a living with day trading futures? And I'm going to say, yeah, wow. Should we? Because I think it's important. I think that's an important question that lots of people ask themselves that. Futures trader, I do this full time. Yeah. So I'll ask Coach Jay. I'll post it right now on Twix, on X. Should we take most of tomorrow's slow markets class? There you go. I'm going to post it right now. So there you go. Post it on the Twix. I'll ask Coach Jay. I think that's valid. We've talked about it a little bit, but I think having Coach Jay on here, and I might even bring it up with Barron, because Barron quit his job on air. He made a video of it, and we did the video on air, which is funny. I'm making too much money. I quit, basically. That was good. But I think that's a very valid discussion, right? Because eventually that's what we want to get to. If you have a day job, or if whatever your situation is, and we have traders from around the world, I mention it all the time, where $100, it might not be enough to quit your job in, say, living in California, but $100 a day might be more than enough to quit your job if you're living in, say, Peru, right? So depending on the cost of living, where you're at, and what your personal goals are, it depends. It varies so much. It could be $50 a day, could be enough to quit a job. $500 a day on average. Now we're talking averages, because we know, just like I did that casino analogy, we know that you're not going to be making money every single day. It's just very unrealistic. You need to think of an average over a longer period of time. You need a bigger data, enough data, a bigger sample set to be able to have that confidence to say, you know what? Yes, today I quit my job because I've proven myself profitable over X period of time, and this is my average, and I put enough away. I've paid off maybe such and such debt that if I struggle for 6 months or a year, I'm still going to be able to have that time to, take a step back, maybe go find a job if I start to struggle, or you've saved enough to allow yourself a cushion to be wrong. The last thing you want is so much pressure on you that it's going to affect your trading. Like if you're new and you have a car payment, rent, family to take care of, the last thing you want is to sit here and try and trade and think to yourself, oh my gosh, if I don't if I don't win money in this trade, I'm not going to be able to pay the bills, right? Because that adds so much emotional burden as a human and trying to trade. Trading's already hard enough. Trading is already hard enough emotional, even if we don't have that much pressure on us to pay the bills with our trading. You can have a full-time job. Hey, that's paying your bills. But then you try trading and you don't even have to make money in trading and your bills are paid. So there's different levels of pressure when it comes to trading as a part-time or trading as, I'm going to just try and learn at a prop firm for $100 versus, hey, I'm trading, and if I don't make money, I can't eat level of pressure, right? So it's more pressure, more emotions, more mistakes. And you see it all the time, from simulated account to a funded account to a live account. And that could be why you see traders, they do well for a few months and then they blow up once they get too much pressure. So there's a lot of good conversations that can come from it. Pressure's different. I want number one. No pressure, no diamonds. No pressure, no diamonds. Last thing you want to have is a great job and go deep into debt trying to make it as a trader. Do it responsibly. Yeah, there's ways to do it. Now, remember, I'm only 31, and I only know as much as I know. I know Hoag and Eddie and the everybody with more experience probably has that more experience than I do when it comes to that. I think that's going to be a great discussion with Jay and I tomorrow. And yeah, that's going to be a good one. Pressure and diamonds. Richard Harris, I had a job at a movie theater for about 5 weeks, then quit. I got through it. Artistic job, special thing. I really liked it, but the two brothers. Okay. Okay. I lied this when someone sent me. Pressure equals chasing equals loss equals revenge. Trading equals more loss equals more pressure. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle, right? Emotions could be a very vicious cycle. I do not own a Ferrari. I own a 2018 Honda Civic. Adele Trader, stay tuned. Adele Trader, stay tuned. Have you ever Heat book map coach? I've looked at it. I have not traded it. Did you scale a singular 150K account to where you are in your life? No, I did not. I made that extremely clear a few times on social media, and I've talked about it quite often here at Slow Markets. I started trading a year and a half ago here at Topstep. Was it February of last year? I started with one combine, and then I started trading. At the time, there's only 3. I could only trade 3 combines. Got into 3 XFAs, then got my live account. And at the time, you could trade a live account and you could also trade XFAs. So I was doing both. I was trading my live account and I was trading XFAs on a different platform. And in July, I took out most of the profit. And then in July, I took a drawdown. I lost the account. I switched over to Topstep X, started back from scratch. I legit started in the new platform, Topstep X, and I started from zero. I started 5 combines because now Topstep allowed 5 combines. I got those 2 XFAs. I made like, I don't even remember how much. Yeah, it was like $100,000 in like 2 weeks, and then I got my live account here on Topstep X, and then I traded XFAs. I was like, okay, well, I got my live account. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trade 5 more XFAs, trade my live account at the same time. And I kept doing that. And then, Topstep made, unfortunately for me, because I enjoyed the free money. It was free money. It felt like it. But I ultimately, I think it was the right decision to where when you have one live account, you should focus on that and not just sim farm. That's debatable. To me, it was the positive thing for this industry. But then it's been one live account since November, December, and this rest of the year. I withdrew like $250,000 I withdrew $250,000 in February this year. And then I've had ups and downs, mostly downs this year. Yeah, I had a $20,000 mistake once. That's what I want. I want to sit and simulate. Yeah, because here's the thing, is if sim's great and trading in simulated is very, very good for a trader to learn how to trade. And if you can make money, great. The thing is, when you try and do it yourself, you can't just call your broker up and say, hey, I want to trade in a sim account, and then if I do good in my sim account, can you send me a paycheck? That's not life. That's not the reality. And you don't want to depend on that type of a system to be profitable, because ultimately you want to learn how to do it on yourself, right? Where you could get 100% of the profits, and then if something was to happen, say the prop shop goes under, maybe some random prop shop or switching props and this and this and that, which to me creates bad habits. But hey, heck with it. I could go wherever I want around the world. I could trade at with whatever I want to trade on my laptop, and I could trade my account. That's it. I don't depend on anybody changing rules. I don't have to worry about any of the drama and any of that. Bernie knows. Yeah, Bernie knows what I mean. So that's the idea. That's kind of what the dream is, at least for me anyway. Is I could get on my laptop, I could be anywhere around the world, and I could just trade with my broker, and I get 100% of the profits. I don't have to deal with any rules. I could swing trade. I could hold a trade for a week, a month, a day, and I don't have to answer to anybody. And then I don't have to sit here and pray and say, oh my gosh, I hope that they pay me out, right? Like, oh man, I requested $100,000 for my brokerage. I hope they pay me. No, because it's my money. You don't have to worry about any of that sketchy stuff. Like that to me is the goal. That's the dream of the trader, to live like that. And in order to do so, you got to learn how to trade a live account, and you got to learn to trade your own money, not just this sim farming that this industry's, starting to hopefully just throw out the door and say, let's actually, yeah. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, because we're running up on time here. Is this gap filled? Almost. What do you think, chat? Is this the gap? Or yeah, it's hard to say. I'm okay if someone wants to say the gap's filled on this, but I think technically the 70.3 facts, you're right. Yeah, I've been there. I thought about this. I've thought about it long and hard. I've had good conversations with, reasonable traders. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want from this? What do you want from the prop firm world? Do you want to become a better trader, or do you just want a quick hit, like you show up at a casino and get lucky and then leave and hope you leave with more than what you put in, right? I don't know. There's so many different ways to look at it. But ultimately, you just want to become a better trader so you can do it yourself. And you can do it for the rest of your life too, right? This is a skill that once you learn, you can probably do it for the rest of your life. You could be 80 years old and trading it up, being your own boss. Is gold touching a bullish trend line on the hourly chart? I did not see that yet. Traders take a quick hit. We're gonna bounce from shop to shop, casino to casino, hoping to get lucky. Is that what this is? Are we going from casino to casino, hoping to get lucky? Take advantage of new casinos popping up. And then we get unlucky. They didn't pay me out there, but that's okay. We're gonna do it again. So absurd. It's very foreign to me. Different strokes for different folks. That is for sure. All right, we'll give it a little bit longer. I know let's see, where are we at? Where are we at here? All right, we're at 1 hour. We're at 1 hour. So big thank you, everybody. Thank you for Andrew. Thank you for everybody. I know. Andrew, moderator, always amazing. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, yeah, obviously you wish you woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? That looked like a decent trade. It worked out, but patience. Remember, new week. Don't want to start in the red, but understand that there is plenty of news. It's a full week. Always appreciate it. I will see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning, if not tomorrow night with Coach Jay. We'll be talking more about that. Like I said, I posted it. We're going to have it's going to be some good questions and talk maybe more in depth, myself and Jay, about trading for a living, what it takes. We'll talk a little bit about it and have some more in-depth conversations, maybe ask some questions, answer some questions. But yeah, it was a fun one. Take care, everybody, and see you tomorrow.